Welcome to Influence Matters, the show where I talk with experts, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are turning their story into impact and their expertise into influence. I am Clara Rose, and I'm your host today. Our guest today is Mathew Kerbis, and he is a subscription attorney and CEO of Practi, is a national award winner dedicated to revolutionizing the legal profession by inspiring attorneys to abandon the billable hour in favor of the subscription model, leveraging automation, artificial intelligence to serve clients affordably at scale. And after 4 years of running his law firm, subscription attorney, that's hard to say, Kerbis co-founded Practi in 2025 as a business model solution for AI-powered lawyers. This is so exciting. He's also a frequent public speaker and host of the Law Subscribed and Legal AI Live podcast, instructor of a highly rated CLE courses. Please help me welcome Mathew Kerbis. Welcome.
All right, I'm thrilled to be here.
That was like a total mouthful, right? All I said. So tell us what it is you really, really do.
Yeah, I'm on a mission to kill the billable hour. That's what I'm on at the end of the day. And it might be
I
controversial
love
to say
that.
it. It might be controversial, but
Mhm.
I want to help lawyers make more money while helping close the access to justice gap and helping more people get legal services who
Mm.
can't afford billable hours.
Because billable hours are stupid expensive, right? they,
Well, like,
they really are so crazy.
just think when's the last time that wasn't legal services that you went and bought something and you didn't know how much it was going to cost until you already received the benefit of the services, and regardless of whether you like the outcome, you still owe the money.
Like never. Okay. Well, not even as medical field. All right.
Okay, yes,
Go to the
medical
hospital,
and law.
right? Yeah, medical and law. That's it. So you don't know going in. And most often you don't have a choice,
Mhm.
right? You need it, you have to have it. You don't have a choice. So you have to just suck it up and take whatever you end up with, even if you don't like the outcome and no matter what the cost ends up being.
It doesn't have to be that way, at least for law.
Or at least for law, at least for law. I love that idea. Now, I think we could do some subscriptions kinds of stuff in the medical field, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. So, talk to me about how that works, because I love the concept. When we originally met and you were telling me about it, I'm like, this is brilliant, right? We all should be able to access services like this in this way. So, tell me how the whole subscription model for law really works.
Yeah, and so some of it too is just it helps with transparency, right? And so on my website, and I'm only licensed to practice law in Illinois. Like, my law firm, Subscription Attorney LLC, is focused on small business owners, everyday people. I'm their fractional general counsel for their legal needs. So what does that even mean? It means miles wide, inches deep law. I go miles deep in a couple of things. I have been practicing for over a decade. But law is a little bit of an old school practice, right? It's an old school business. We're stuck to our licensed jurisdiction. The laws in different states are different,
Mhm,
even though they're very
mhm.
similar. But that's one of the things behind Practi is we want to help other lawyers do it the way that I've been doing it. Like you said in the bio, I host a podcast called Law Subscribed. I've interviewed over 100 lawyers who are already leveraging alternative fees like subscription billing for legal services in pretty much every practice area, you name it. I think the only practice area I haven't interviewed is an antitrust lawyer. I don't know if that's going to be relevant to most people. Okay, so they're antitrust lawyers. I haven't found one billing on subscription yet. But when it comes to any other kind of practice area, being able to budget for that, whether you're a business owner, even enterprise businesses, I have larger business clients for my firm that are not small business owners. I'm not the only lawyer that they work with, but for day-to-day things, for uh, for triaging issues before they blow up in your face, like you said, when you don't have any other choice but to go and seek legal counsel, subscriptions incentivizes that the clients reach out to the lawyers before their problem is even a problem, and so that way you could avoid it. And lawyers, you can't charge as much for problem avoidance as you charge for problem solving, but law is the operating system of society, and everybody needs help with legal problem avoidance, especially if you didn't pay $150,000 to go to law school and learn all about it.
For sure. And you don't know what you don't know, right? As a consumer, we don't know the law, we don't understand the law, and so we're often left feeling helpless, right?
Yeah.
And even to have a conversation with an attorney, like we're facing that right now, even to have that first conversation, right? Oh, we'll give you 30 minutes for free kind of thing, but then they want, chunks of money to even listen to what your problem is, and then to give you very basic, hey, here's some potential solutions how we can address this. But if you already have relationship, which that's what it sounds like to me, subscription means I already have relationship with this entity or this person, right? So I have the ability to say, hey, this is a potential coming down the road problem, right? How can I avoid this? Or, yeah, I think this is falling apart or this is happening, right? That's what it sounds like to me. Am I missing the mark?
No, you're right on it. And the other thing too is when I'm talking to a client, yeah, I'm able to not just talk about the problem for which they're calling or that we're trying to avoid, but I'm also able to do what we learn in law school called issue spotting, where I'm asking what might seem like innocuous questions. And really what I'm doing is figuring out, okay, well, what else is happening in their business, right? What else is
Mm,
happening in their life? And okay, that's a legal situation. And they might not be thinking about that. Hey, if this thing ever happens, make sure you schedule that call with me. So we could take care of that before that becomes an issue, right? So some of that is just being that expert issue spotter, because in this
mhm,
world of AI, where
mm.
look how many millions of users? There are almost a billion people who are subscribed to some AI tool these days. We know that consumers or people in businesses are subscribing to AI and asking it legal questions, right? So I think like the time is ripe, and
Yeah.
this is one of the reasons why we started Practi, is like people are willing to pay a monthly price and get legal advice.
Mhm.
Like we're not going to debate today whether you could actually get legal advice from an AI tool. I think you can't. I think you get useful legal information,
No. Mm-mm.
and for my firm, I get like 1 or 2 a week, intake calls scheduled where people say, "AI told me about you." Right? And so, like, AI is still pointing people to, "Hey, I can only help you so much.
Wow.
You need to go talk to a lawyer." And then they
Nice.
say, "Well, I want affordable
Mm.
attorney." And it's like, "Well, and somehow my firm ends up on that list." Now, the downside is I'm only licensed to practice law in Illinois, right? And so, like, with a tool like Practi that is kind of like Shopify for small law firms, um,
Right.
we're helping law firms price, on subscription, right, and fixed fees. But also, we're creating this network of attorneys who have transparent pricing. And so, sort of in the future, and like if you look way down the road, like
Mm.
10 miles down the road, Practi is also going to be a place that people could go to and find transparent pricing for their legal services. But in the beginning, right now, we're just very focused on helping those lawyers who are most likely also using AI, hopefully the right way and ethically. And we do a lot of teaching and training on that. Uh, we're going to help them have a profitable business model and more affordably serve more clients. And I know I threw a lot at you there.
Mm. I think, oh, I freeze?
We're
Oh,
live. This proves we're not AI
we're
though, so that's a good thing.
that's yeah, we're real. We're real people over here doing a real show. I love that definition. Actually, that's pretty comprehensive. I 100% that think that this is the future of um, most of our industries, right? That there's going to be a component. Now, I'm not a massive AI fan in general, um, or I haven't been, but I recently have been dipping my toes in the AI waters for the value that I can find. Just being aware that it can't do everything. Like it can't give you legal advice, right? It can't write your book for you because if it does, now that's not copyrightable content because you, the person, didn't actually create it, right? And by the way, now it's public domain, right? So there are some things that AI cannot do for you, like getting legal advice. But I love that it pointed people to you, right? Or to a solution, because I see the value of AI being a research tool. right? How do I get from where my brain is right now, right here, to where I need to be? And then AI shortcuts that for you. Hey, you are stuck on this. Here's a professional who can help you, right? You need an attorney. Oh, here's somebody, affordable attorney. Here's somebody who can help you. And Practi, right, is just building that network because you have constraints, right? You're constrained to your own state. Is that normal for small business attorneys?
Yeah, I mean, the only
Mm.
practice areas that really cross state lines are like federal-based practices, so like immigration,
Oh, I'm
intellectual
okay.
property, things where federal law is the dominant
Mhm.
law in play. Antitrust, which I brought up earlier, it's not really relevant to a lot
Right.
of people, but like those types of practice areas, even though that's true, sometimes, and I really see power in like local community. Like, yes, a lot of my focus now is being drawn into Practi and away from my law firm, and I'm even talking with other small firms in Illinois to see about outsourcing some of the legal work as I grow Practi that could, I think, have a greater outsized impact than me just having my own affordable subscription-based law firm.
Mhm.
But 80% of my clients are local to me, even though I could serve any client in Illinois or transacting in Illinois through the practice, right? And so even with these federal practices, people usually still like to be able to look their
Mm.
attorney or their service provider in the eyes at some point, not
Right.
forever. But like once in a while, it's nice to actually get together and know
Mhm.
people. Why do you hire service providers? Well, because you know, like, and trust them, right? And it's hard to
Mhm.
know, like, and trust somebody who's just you're just meeting them virtually. That being said, people
Mhm.
people do just sign up for my practice because Practi makes it really
Mhm.
easy, and I've been using Practi in
Mhm.
my firm exclusively since November. Makes it really easy for clients to subscribe and engage and hire attorneys just like any other e-commerce experience that we're used to
Mhm.
hiring
Mhm.
anything else or paying for anything else on the internet, right? So I
Mhm.
have had people who are just like, no, actually, like, I really like the transparent pricing, and that's enough for me to know, like, and trust this law firm, right? So, like, even
Mm.
just the transparency. Now, will that
Right.
last forever? Well, if Practi revolutionizes and changes the way that
Mm.
clients hire lawyers, that novelty won't be enough to get lawyers hired.
Mhm.
But for now, for like the next, 3 to 5 years, I think that
Right.
having that transparent pricing can help clients cross that know, like, and trust gap.
Yeah. And then someday when everyone's doing it, right, then you'll have to find a different way to stand out, right? But for now, right? And I think as in society, we've shifted our thinking to subscription based just in
Mhm.
general, right? My car wash is subscription based, right? 5 years ago, I would have thought that is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard, right? But literally, I have a little sticker on my car, and every time I like head to the bank or right, I'm going right by the car wash. So couple times a week, I just like zip in. I don't have to pay because it's part of my subscription, right? And I just zip on through, wash my car. They have a place you can park and vacuum it out or whatever. It takes me like 10 minutes and then my car is always, spotless. I'm like, yeah, sign me up for that any day of the week because
Yeah.
we've been
So
conditioned that
you,
this is a
you
good
probably
model.
do you have like an express lane too? Sometimes certain car washes for those, they like
Yeah.
have a dedicated lane to their subscribers, right?
Yes.
So for
Yes.
for my law firm and for what I coach and encourage and teach other lawyers to do is we do the equivalent of that if you become a subscriber to a law firm, and that is you get a dedicated scheduling link. Like my firm uses
Mhm.
Calendly. There's other scheduling links out there,
Mhm.
but you get a custom scheduling link. That's good customer service, right? It's like, hey, you get this custom scheduling
Yeah.
link, and depending on which subscription which level you're at, you might get more access to time to schedule 15-minute
Right.
calls. Maybe if you're paying more, you get to schedule 30-minute calls, right? And I encourage unlimited scheduled calls, just like with the car wash, unlimited car washes.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to go get a car wash 5 times a day. Like, it's a waste of time to go and get a car wash every
Right.
day. Right. So, like, same thing with your
Right.
lawyer. Look, I think I'm very affable. I think my clients enjoy talking to me. But at the end of the day, you don't really want to spend all day talking to your lawyer. So clients
Right.
don't abuse it. Like,
Mhm.
I've been practicing for over a decade. For 4 years, almost to the day, I've had the subscription based law firm. I've only ever had to fire a couple of clients who really abused and went beyond their subscription benefits
Mm.
without without
Mhm.
subscribing at a higher level like I said they needed to. Otherwise, it just wasn't going to be a good fit unless they stayed within their member
Mhm.
benefits, right? So like people generally speaking very much respect the member benefits. It's I mean, can you imagine like I don't know what's outside of the benefits of the car wash example, but it's a great example, right? And that's a service
Mhm.
provider. That's not a software,
Mhm.
solution.
Mhm.
That's a service provider. So I think it's a great analogy.
I could go every day, right? Because I picked the highest subscription level, right? I could pick a lower level, right? And you get less for your money, but the even the top tier was just reasonable enough, right? It's so much cheaper than if I went somewhere where they hand wash it and all that, right? If I had it
Right.
detailed somewhere, but I don't need that because I have just picked the top level package. I can go through I don't go through every day I can, but I don't go through every day. I go a couple, maybe 3 times a week if it's, really necessary. But yeah,
Right. And if you have a
I'm not
kid,
abusing it.
if you have a kid in the back seat who's making a mess, you need the highest tier because you need that inside vacuum cleaned, right? But they don't always make a mess. But when you need it, it's there. And so sometimes
It's there.
paying for access is
Yeah.
valuable when you need that access. And of course, as the service
Yeah.
provider, be it a car wash or a law firm or a
Mhm.
concierge or
Mhm.
DPC doctor or whatever, you have to make sure you deliver that service. Now, one of the reasons I encourage month to month subscriptions, both for law firms and for clients, is because you at any month, the client could fire you. You could terminate the relationship with the
Mhm.
client, but it creates an incentive that you have to keep delivering. And if you ever fail to deliver,
Mm.
they're going to unsubscribe, right? And so I
Right.
like the month to month subscription and that availability. But yeah, sometimes just being available when needed is valuable, and clients, customers, consumers of anything are willing to pay for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, for that convenience. Access to a professional. And certainly the car wash is, nothing like having access to an attorney, but it's just a good snapshot of what the subscription-based model can be, right?
But I,
It
yeah, I
can
love the
offer.
example though, because we've all gotten a car wash. Well, maybe not everybody, but a lot more
Mhm.
people have gotten a car wash
Oh,
than have hired a lawyer, right? So it's
right.
good to
Sure.
analogize. So like if I'm the car wash owner, I'm thinking, well, how do I speed up the car wash, but also make sure it's
Mhm.
the same quality or better, right? So with lawyers today, that's AI and that's automation tools.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to pay a lawyer to draft a contract from scratch. They haven't wanted to do that forever. And some lawyers kind of pretend like they do, even though we're all buying access to curated templates, right? Well, now with
Right.
I could take a template database. I could take my historical data.
Mm.
I could use these legal AI research tools to run a check against all statutes, which I couldn't do before. Right? Nobody would pay
Mhm.
for the hours it would take for a lawyer to verify that a contract was applicable, was compliant with every single possible regulation. Well, with
Right.
AI, we're able to do that now. Right. And
Mm.
are we able to do it perfectly? No, like AI is not perfect, but nobody wants to pay a human to go and spend those hours doing that. So now we, the law
Mhm.
firms, are incentivized. Now we're not selling AI to lawyers. There's almost 1,000 legal AI tools that are available for lawyers, just legal,
Wow.
not even your chat GPTs and your Claudes and your Geminis, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are like legal specific tools that they're secure, they're private, they do some other things that are very legal
Mhm.
specific, right? And we're going to pay a little more for that. And that's okay because we
Mhm.
need to have those
Mhm.
privacy and security protections and pay for better accuracy, right?
Yeah.
But now when I'm billing by the hour, I don't want to use those tools. And so we're Practice also friends to
Right.
every legal AI company out there because we're like, we want the lawyers to be using AI. We think they need to be using AI,
Yes.
right? And now when you're not billing by the hour, you as a business owner are incentivized to find how could I deliver the same
Mhm.
service but faster and better. And there are some way more well-known experts, folks like Mark Cuban out there and some other well-known experts saying like this changes the game. You could have better, faster,
Mm.
and cheaper. It used to be pick two. You can't have all three.
Right.
But with AI
Right.
as a legal service provider, now you can deliver better, faster, and cheaper legal
Mm.
services. You make up for that in volume and with long-term relationships with your clients.
Mm. That's it right there, right? It's that ongoing revenue versus somebody who, "Oh, crap, I need a lawyer," right? Right? Because right, I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it, right? Right? It's just been a painful experience, right, to have to go get a lawyer. So now instead of it being, you use this lawyer once and then, it could be years before you need to use that lawyer again, you actually are in relation you build relationship with
Right.
that lawyer, right? Because the subscription model gives you that ongoing metered access, right? And so now, hey, my attorney's name is Mathew, right? It's a different approach. I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Did you come up with this yourself?
I definitely came to the idea myself, and I
I
innovated
love
on
that.
what had been done before. But I was not the
Mhm,
first lawyer to use subscriptions. Part of the benefit of being a
mhm.
podcast host of Law Subscribed is I've interviewed lawyers. One lawyer who's been doing it for like 3 decades. Now, he's just
Wow.
keeping to himself and he's billing his clients, on subscription, and he's not tracking
Mhm,
time or billing time, right?
mhm.
But he's just doing his thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when you do have like a niche podcast topic, when
Mhm.
there's a fit. They're like, oh, you got to talk to Thomas. He's got timeless counsel. He's been doing this for decades, and like so, because
That's
somebody knew
brilliant.
of Thomas, because it's like, oh yeah,
Mm,
subscription, like that's
mhm,
what he does. He doesn't track time. So now I'm talking to him, right, and I'm learning from him. So like, yes, I am still like the go-to expert in this space of
mhm,
subscription-based legal services, but I am not the only one who's been doing it. I've definitely not been doing it the longest. I think I've accumulated all my knowledge about it, and for Practi users, for lawyers who want to use Practi, we have notebook.practi.ai is an AI powered retrieval augmented generation like bot that is answering only based on the knowledge of podcast interviews that I've done, articles that I've written,
wow.
course materials that I put together. So they're able to ask all their subscription-based legal questions and a lot of AI related, how to use AI for legal
Mhm.
from this resource. And that could help them build out their practice inside of Practi, right? So like being able to curate that knowledge and make it easily accessible. And we make that right now, I think it actually still like open for free if anyone has a Gmail account, but soon we're going to make that for Practi users only. Because if you're
Wow.
watching this live and you happen to want to go check it out, but the other thing is like if you're a potential client or an existing client of a lawyer, like tell your lawyer to use Practi, right? Because if your lawyer's billing you by the hour and you don't know how much your legal spend is going to be, like Practi is there so law firms can learn how to do transparent, predictable pricing for their clients. And
Mhm,
I think every single client should demand that their lawyers give them transparent pricing. And Practi right now is the
mm.
best solution that lets them do that, in my opinion. It's not been objectively tested, and I'm biased. It's my company. But it's all but I know for certain right now, and things are changing all the time in the tech landscape.
Mhm,
We're the only platform that is designed purpose built to let the client self-serve and put the client in the driver's seat. So if the client wants to unsubscribe, they want to change their subscription level, they want to buy some fixed fee or flat fee services from a law firm that they're subscribed to, they could do it all inside of Practi, self-serve. They don't have to try to get in touch with the law firm to try to unsubscribe if they determine that it's not a good fit, or they want to, or they think, hey,
mm.
I have a
I
lot
love
of
that.
legal projects coming up next month. I want to like increase my subscription level. They don't even need to reach out to the firm. They can just go on and they can increase or decrease. Right. So like that, like we are
Yeah.
built for that. So yeah, I encourage anyone who's working with a lawyer or might need to in the future and they can't give you a known price, tell that lawyer to use Practi and go to Practi.ai. Sorry for the little ad there, but I think like I didn't think about that.
No,
And I really
no, I
think
think
that
that's brilliant.
we should all demand transparent pricing from our attorneys.
I completely agree with you. I think I think it's brilliant. I think that, because you're just building in your own state, and you just happen to have made this tool that makes it possible for any attorney in any state to jump on the bandwagon and say, I can better serve people in my area. And the subscription model is a beautiful model. It creates ongoing, consistent revenue for your business if you take care of your people.
Yeah.
That's it, right? That's the brilliance of it right there. Take care of your people. They'll stay and a bunch of them will keep paying your salary. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I applaud you. I need to
One
figure
of
out
the
how to do
most
that in my own business.
well, and that's the thing. Any service provider, right? Like we're built for law
Mhm.
firms. We do have some consultants on the platform because they're like, "Hey, I just want
Mhm.
to use this platform. Can we use it for consultants?" And so, like, look, we do have some consultants on who really like it. And but to your point, right? It's like yes, it is kind of creating like that recurring revenue for your business
Mhm.
and that income. But it really sort of changes the game, for how you're interfacing with your clients and your
Mhm.
customers. And you don't need to spend all that time and effort and money on always, always, always acquiring new customers or new clients, right? Like subscription model
Yeah,
broadly, not just to law, right? When you
right.
leverage a membership based model or a subscription based model, depending on how you price it. And that's why I built that tool,
Mhm.
notebook.practi.ai, is like, depending on how you price it, maybe you only need 10 customers, right? And then you just got to
Mhm.
keep those 10 customers, 10 clients happy, right? And maybe give them some flexibility with some subscription tiers depending on actual usage, right? But then maybe you need and some close down their business, some their circumstances change, they move to a different state, you can't help them anymore, so you still got to do marketing, you still got to do business development.
Mhm.
That doesn't become such a time and money suck as it was pre-subscription business, where it's churn them and burn them. They just pay me a
Right.
one flat fee or one case on the billable hour, and then they're gone, and they never want to talk to me again because they're worried they're going to get a bill.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
really, it just it
'Cause they
just
will.
changed. Yeah, it just changes the game, for sure.
Yeah. Brilliant. That is so brilliant. Okay. So if someone lives in your state, then where can they go so that they
Yeah,
can connect with you?
you bet. If you're in Illinois, or you have a transaction or a deal, like a business transaction,
Okay.
in the state of Illinois, you just go to subscriptionattorney.com. Pretty straightforward. I think it explains which subscription level might be the best
Okay.
for you, and it also lists all the flat fee services that are available to subscribers.
Okay. And then if you're an attorney watching this, or you're a consumer who has an attorney, right? Where should the attorneys go?
Yeah, they should go to practi.ai. So like practice, but it ends at the I, practi.ai, where for the lawyer, we're trying to change the profession here. So it's free to make your account. It's free to build out your subscriptions. We even don't charge. There is a
Wow.
payment processing fee, but we don't even charge when you get your first subscribing client. We only start charging the law firms on the platform after they subscribe their second client, because we really want them to see the value of this platform and
Mhm.
what it means to start getting that recurring revenue before we start charging to continue to deliver the service to them.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. I know some people I'm going to just send over. I don't even use them, but they're friends, right? They're people that I know, that I network with, that are in the profession. I
Yeah,
just think this is a brilliant way to offer. So even if you did it in conjunction with your other service model, right? At first, I think you would soon see the value of the subscription model and be a convert. I have to find a way
absolutely.
to do this in my own business. I love it. Thank you for taking the time out of your no doubt busy schedule to come and be on the show and talk about Practi and what it is that you're doing in the world. You are, making a difference, and your influence matters, right? You are influencing the world around you to a better world. So I thank you so much for your time today, for sure.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is totally my pleasure. All right, guys. Once again, thank you for showing up like you always do to support me. If you are interested, of course, in getting your message out to the world, I don't want to miss the opportunity to tell you about the free resources that you can get to get your book out to the world. So if you are looking to craft your message for the world and build a book that you can use as a tool for your business, ministry, cause, or brand, I invite you to check out the free resources over at the brand new school community at thesavvyauthors.com. Yes, I hate the way they spelled school. They misspelled school. So, as a literary person, it makes me crazy that they misspelled school, but I love the platform, and I'm just building out a bunch of free resources for you over there. So I invite you to hop on over there and connect. It's free to join. You do have to, give me your email address, but if you're looking to write your book, that is the best place to connect with me and get started over there. And of course, if you are interested in being on this podcast, I would love to hear from you as well. And you can drop me an email over at hello@clararose.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with you. All right. I am out of time today, but thank you for joining me once again every Friday. I will see you next week.